Good evening, all. We are back. Another trigger warning for us all, for everybody, on the last show of February. So tonight we're going to be just diving it really deep here, where we're going to be discussing why people shouldn't feel like they're failing, but really they're in survival mode. Obviously, it's just me and Nick tonight. Ashley's not well, so I could hope she gets better for next week. So yeah. So Nick, how are you?
Yes, all good, all good. I'm, an excited, motivated state. Had a good day, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yeah, no, all good, all good. How are you, madam?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
Yeah, still sober, still alive, and still ready to kick ass.
Excellent. Those are all positives. Good reason to celebrate.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. So, obviously, talking about like failing and surviving, do you think we should focus on the failing first, then go into the survival mode?
Yes, why not?
I believe we should. So, obviously, we've all got. Hi, Robert. By the way, please do share this, subscribe, and please like and comment any questions you may have or your experience. Yeah, we're always looking forward to it, hearing it. So, when did you first start believing you were a failure, and what voice or whose voice was it originally that made you believe that?
Oh, is that? Wow, that's a
What a start! What a start!
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly there's been a few points in my life where I thought I'd failed, definitely, and so so I was a failure because I'd failed, and I think so. For example, when my relationship with my ex, we've been together sort of 15 years, and we had a young son, and when that fell apart, I thought I was a failed, massively of that, and I was a failure in my relationship, with my partner, and that was definitely a big thing. But also, looking back, at my work life, I've had a few big redundancies, and the last one, I struggled to get work, so I felt, real failure. That failure to keep a job, failure to build a career, and I think when you fail in one way, it can obviously affect your mental state. So whether it's if you find yourself as failing in your career and keeping a job, then it'll knock your confidence and your self-belief in the same way if you feel you fail in a relationship. Whatever the thing of failing, it attacks the same things. Your confidence, belief.
Yeah, because obviously there is that saying in it where to experience success you need to fail. You need to experience failure. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Adam? That same question.
Obviously with me, and believe it or not, at one point I actually thought Kerry was failing me.
Okay.
Yeah, but in reality, I was failing myself, and it was that was the voice I was hearing, my inner voice telling me that I'm a failure. And because there were a lot of issues going on in the past with me and Kerry and stuff like that, and I thought she was killing me, emotionally and psychologically killing me, but no, it was me killing myself and killing us. That's what I was doing.
That's quite a realization.
Very,
yeah.
So it's and that was actually back in 2018, going into 2019. So it was very, very tough. So obviously, like I said, 2019 was the worst year of my life.
Yeah. And do I mean? Because I think there's a difference between we can fail at something, but that's different. And in some ways, that's feeling we're a failure because we all fail at certain tasks, certain challenges. Life is full of challenges, and we all fail at certain things. But whether we view ourselves as a failure, that's a big that's a next step, which a big next step, because defining ourselves as a failure is a bigger thing than just failing at something, isn't it?
And it's getting rid of that fear. Because I believe if you're branding yourself a failure, fear and resentment have a big part in that, and obviously that comes difference from the trauma as well. Because do you know what? Thinking about it now, and it's just come to me now. When they say action speaks louder than words, now I know why there's an argument there. Now I know why, because actions do have a ripple effect, but words stick. Words stick, and words are actually a lot more painful than actions.
No, I think you're right.
So so I do see the argument there why people believe words are a lot stronger than actions. Now I see it.
No, I think words can have a lot of meaning, a lot of definitely words people say to us, or words we say to ourselves, and our internal voice or dialogue. Words can have a lot of content. Even think of the word failure. I mean, that one word has a lot of if you say I failed, I mean, that it's just a word, but it can have a lot of meaning. But it's interesting, the failure thing, because it all comes down to sort of what is failure, what is success. I mean, it's such a massive subjective thing, isn't it? And actually there is no, I think, definitive you reach this point and you failed, or you succeeded, or you missed that point, you failed, because life is about constantly trying to move forward, and that's part of a positive thing about self-improvement, having a growth mindset. We try and constantly move forward in life. We do positive things and improve ourselves, and there's no one final point. There's no I've done it, I've reached this, that's it, I've succeeded, or I've missed, I haven't done this, or this hasn't gone wrong, so I failed. And I think life is not black and white. It's not, it's, and also, if we think we failed at something, well, we've got the rest of our lives, to reach, to do those things, to reach that. That's very subjective.
And speaking of that, I'm failing. How many from your experience, how many of your I'm failing beliefs are actually survival responses to trauma you've never healed from?
I mean, I definitely think that a lot of the things we say to ourselves, like in our internal dialogue, whatever, it is a survival thing. In some way, we're trying to protect ourselves. I think we're very survival, instinctive led. Everything we do is, it's tried. There's a sort of a greater good of trying to protect ourselves. I think recognizing that is obviously an important thing for trying to sort of avoid.
You mentioned about protecting. What do you think we're protecting ourselves from, or who?
Well, I mean, I think if we've had some sort of trauma, or some sort of we don't want that to happen again. Not exactly the same thing, but that feeling, the feelings we had in that situation. So we'll do anything to avoid it, and that's that's so the way, so what we do, actions, or the way we view some people or things, everything, I think deep down is trying to protect us from the perceived risk of going through that trauma again.
Absolutely. So I think, okay. If your inner critic had a name or a face, who would it be, and why does it still have power over you?
It's an interesting one. I've heard that before. Name your critic. Give it, make it more of a, and then it's funny really because we do. I think we're quite self-critical. We all are. I think, and I think we're more critical of ourselves than we would dare say to other people. Because if we said some of the things we say to ourselves to other people, they'd be like, "What the? What? Why are you saying that? It's totally unacceptable." But we'll say those things to ourselves. I don't know if I've got a particular name for it. I mean,
No.
I could probably come up with a name, but I know that.
Or a face. Or a face.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, a lot of my struggles. When I was at school, I was very introverted, and I struggled a lot of that, a lot of bullying of that, and that carried over to when I started work. Later on in my 20s, and obviously, over time, I've moved on from that due to being more confident and things. But so I think definitely there, when I have that inner critic, I can see some of the faces of the people who were critical of me in that sense, in the past. So.
Do you know what?
What about you? What about you, Adam?
If I was to say that, I'd say myself.
Okay,
I would
interesting.
say myself.
Interesting.
Because obviously it goes back to what happened growing up,
Yeah,
and obviously I have no control of that, no control, but I've got the control now,
yeah,
and if I want to revisit that trauma, I need to put myself back in that situation, back
sure.
in that, back in, as people say, victim mentality. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that anymore because I see that as a lesson now, and I know people are going to disagree with that because it's not a lesson about being abused or anything like that, and I get why that I get it, but it was more we can't change what happened in the past, but we can
yeah,
change our responses here and today. Because there's that that motto in it where if we let the past, if we keep visiting the past and we're negative today, then that's affecting our present, which will affect our future. But if we move on from that, put it behind us, right? Okay, it happened, but I'm not going to let it impact me today. I'm going to remain positive, change my approach to it, and seek help, speak to the right people. That'll set off for a positive future.
And there's a phrase I've heard a few, lots of times where some people say there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback, in the sense that you can, I guess, learn from every time something doesn't go how you want it to or expect it to, rather than seeing it as failure. It's like, well, what can I learn from this? What can I
Yeah.
take from this? And do you agree? And do you think that you can always learn something when you
Oh, we're always learning.
fail? Yeah,
We are always learning, and it's just a matter of does it value us, and will it push us forward, or will it hold us back? And that's what we need to sit and assess.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I do see myself as that inner critic.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
Like,
Go on.
I mean,
What?
I get. Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say. I suppose the inner critic is a lot to, a lot to take a lot of responsibility for that sense that we wouldn't feel we're failing if we didn't have an inner critic. That telling us we're failing, because actually, who says we're failing? Who's set the standard here for success and failure? I mean, it's not. There's no.
See, I've realised now that, like, when, for example, Kerry's in crisis, or
Sure.
yeah, I'm gonna pick on Kerry a little bit here. And when she's in crisis and she says, I'm a failure, I'm worthless, everything like that, and she talks about her past, like bullying and being bullied and all that, and I'm like to her, okay, my first question is, are the bullies here today? Are they stood right in front of you? And she'll go, no. I'm like, well, don't let it impact you then. It happened. That experience has happened. Let's move on.
I think it's so true that even if we feel we failed today in this moment, well then I know it's hard not to be simplistic and talk about these things, but tomorrow's another day, next day. So we failed today, but then today's yesterday. That makes sense. And it's just a moment in time. It's you can't fail all your life. It's impossible. You can't be a failure all your life. No one can be, because we don't all fail at every single thing we do.
Well,
I'm
glad you mentioned that, because that just made me think of Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone's motto, where he talks about tomorrow. He said, tomorrow doesn't exist if you don't have today.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I really would recommend it. I really would recommend everyone listening to that.
Yeah.
I really would. Yeah. When he talks about tomorrow's not guaranteed, well, tomorrow doesn't exist if you haven't got today.
I think there's also one thing that, like with the whole failure, when we all think sometimes, we all think we failed at something, and we attach, sort of perhaps embarrassment or shame about something we've failed at. But actually, if you look at some of the most powerful, speakers, they often, obviously have their story of what you could perceive as failing, but they own it and they use it and tell it with pride, as in, yes, this happened and my life's a mess and then I failed, but then, this is what I learned from it. This is what, managed to. So I guess it's, it's part of that thing of.
Oh yeah. We're always going to have setbacks in our life.
Yeah.
We always are.
We own it.
And we're always going to make mistakes as well. Like I've said to Kerry that I'm always going to make mistakes, and I will continue to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's just life. That is life. Hi, Teresa. You okay?
And also, if you don't mind, look at this with you, Adam. I mean, if you you attached your struggles, with alcohol and other things, and said that you had put everything about that, you had failed because of that, then you'd be stuck in that past. But actually, you said, yes, I had these challenges, and you could say failures, but look at me now, exactly. You're owning it and say, actually, I'm a stronger person by having no failure. I've now gone. That's otherwise you'd be stuck in the past if all you just
Well, exactly, and that's what it's about. And it's about acceptance and accountability. That's what it's all about. Yeah, have people done me wrong in the past? Of course. Are they gonna do me wrong in the future and the present? Yes, they will. And this is what we tell our kids as well, because they call us all names under the sun, and we don't take it personally, Dimitri and Kerry. We don't.
Sure.
Because the thing is, we say to them, if you think we're bad, you haven't witnessed or come across people that are going to do it 10 times worse, whether it's in a workplace, whatever. They're going to do it they're going to do them bad. And they have no response because they know we're right.
Sure. That's true.
Exactly.
I think there's also with holding us to a failure, I think, it goes back to sort of, as a bit of it's so easy to compare ourselves, and I think particularly social media, and say, well, look at, in our minds say, well, look at what everyone else is doing, or look at this person's achieved in the same age. Look at what my friend's life is like. I fail because I'm not doing that. I haven't got that. And I think it's a very dangerous path to go down, but it's so easy now, more easy than ever to do that. But I think comparing ourselves, because obviously there's always people who are, on the surface may seem have a better lifestyle, earn more money, whatever, or whatever. But there's people who, at the same time, there are people who are struggling more than us, who are have less than us in life, and I think that's the point. There's people above, there's people below, and I think comparing yourself is a, I think it's such an easy thing to do, but I think it's actually never a
Absolutely.
good thing for mental health, is it?
Yeah, and this next question's for everybody, even people in the comments as well. So I'd love to hear everybody's version of this. If you was not taught to stay strong, what pain would you finally admit you're tired of holding? If you were never taught to stay strong, what pain? I would say for me, it's the pain of connection. Connection.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah. Yeah, because I never had that bond, that connection to others, like family and friends or anything like that. I never had that. And even today, I'm still learning, even now, to be that one true friend, that true friend.
Sure.
I'm still learning that. Am I finding it easy? No, I'm not. I'm not, and that's me opening up straight as it comes. I'm still struggling how to be that friend,
Mm.
but I know I'll get there. I know
Yeah.
I will. So that's mine. That's me.
Yeah, I think for me, I I mean, I was sort of trapped in a thing where I thought that no one wanted to hear what I'd say, so I didn't. No one would listen to me, so I never said anything, and so I was very quiet, and that affected my relationships at school. I didn't make many friends, and struggled to, and I had a lot of stuff going on with family and stuff. But I real lack of confidence. So I thought no one cared what I want to say. No one interested in what I had to say, and I didn't have anything worth listening to anyway. But actually, and that was a big pain for me, that thought, because I did want to actually, we all have stuff to say. So actually, deep down, I had loads of things to say.
Yeah.
Um, and I think when I realised that, and I thought, I realised, and actually I thought, it was the most empowering thing when I realised, well, it doesn't matter if people don't want to hear, or it doesn't matter what I say. We all have a right to say, we all have a right to express our opinions. I mean, they're healthy opinions, but we all have a right to, to be able to, make friends and talk about, and we have a voice to have a right to an opinion and have a voice. And I think the moment I did that, it's the most liberating thing ever. I didn't need other people's approval. I didn't need, and I thought that I was I was always making myself failure before I'd failed by thinking, predicting that's what people's reaction would be. But actually, in the moment, it's the most liberating thing when I realised, well, I was saying I was going to fail. I was making myself fail by not even giving myself a chance to speak out. And so, the moment I said, well, that it's not about success or failure. It's just about me speaking out, making friends, speaking to people. Then
So
everything changed. So
let's pick on mental health a little bit.
mm.
What and this is to everybody. Yeah, the root of the issue, Nick. It really is. Yeah, you're right, Robert. So, So what's one truth? I'm gonna dive deep here. What's one truth about your mental health you've never said out loud?
Well,
I know.
well, I mean,
I got this. That's me. I got this.
I like that.
I got this.
That's your.
Wow, that's tough. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I find it very hard. I mean, it's because ridiculous, and in a sense, I know it, but I do, often think, one of the big things for me is to redefine, what failure is, because I do have these moments every now and then where I think, oh, well, I failed in, like I said, a big relationship, my ex, and I've failed, where, what am I doing? Am I am I making any money? Am I got this? Where should I be? And I do have these moments of doubt and moments of failure, but then, and but yeah, I've tried to sort of think, yeah, for mental health wise, does it matter? Does it matter? What? At the end of the thing, we'll tie ourselves. I think we can tie ourselves up in knots over worrying and overthinking things. And at the end of the day, nothing matters but your well-being. Your mental and physical health. Nothing else matters. So we can. It's so easy to overthink things, and overanalyze things, and where we are, what we're doing, but what's happened to us in our life. But I think at the end of the day, if we're doing our best and we're moving forward, nothing else matters, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is anyone else? Oh yeah.
Thanks, Teresa. That is just powerful. Wow.
Just saw a comment.
Thank you. Wow.
That's lovely. That's a nice. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, that's nice.
That is powerful.
That's a very.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah. So now we're moving on to the surviving thing. Obviously, for me, it took me to attempt suicide to say I've got the like to move forward. Like it was actually my daughter who, well, Tegan, that obviously said, "You've got this, Dad."
Hmm.
Me to start smiling after that attempt. Yeah. I was a mess when I carry. I was a mess. Yeah. And it was, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would you? I mean, Adam, what what was it that? What's the one thing that sort of turned things around a bit in your mindset, or whether you see, because obviously you're in a bit of a mess in the state. Was it?
Well,
was your son, taken saying you got this? Because that's quite a powerful thing. There's three simple words. Actually, it sums up a real belief in your ability.
Do not. I'll explain what happened. I will explain. And Teresa, if you want to stick by, go for it. Right. Thing is, obviously, I was in active addiction. I was a complete twat with everybody around me, and I felt isolated. Wow, and I didn't know what, and obviously I lost a daughter to the system as well. So it was all, and obviously the childhood trauma as well. So it was all piling up on me, a bit overwhelming. Yeah. And this one particular day, I just thought, you know what? I'm just had enough. I had enough. So then I'll say, I made myself a bath, just obviously for self-care purposes. And one thing led to another. And obviously Kerry was shouting me. But I couldn't hear anything. And obviously she found me. Was I doing a lot of screaming and my face was like purpley red in anger? Yeah, it was. Because I didn't want to be here anymore. So I brand that as a successful failure. And then obviously when I came round, I basically shut myself in the bedroom for about a week. 8 days. I neglected myself. I wasn't eating. I wasn't showering or anything like that. I wasn't even a dad. I wasn't even a partner. I was doing nothing.
Sure.
So I stayed in the bedroom for that long. And every time I came to top of steps, it was fine. But every time I came to the top of steps and the front door opened, I started shaking. I started shaking to the point I was scared to even come down the steps. So Kerry made that a mission to get me to at least the garden gate. So obviously I managed to come downstairs, but instead of just walking past the front door, I ran past the front door. I ran, and then because obviously you've seen the hallway. So basically, because at one point we could go straight through and go into the kitchen. So she basically made the mission. So she went, Adam, stand at the kitchen door, and we're going to take a few steps. We're going to get you to the front door. And then we're going to get you to the step. Then we're going to get to halfway through to the garden path, then to the gate, and you can take as much time as you need to do that. So that's what we did. And I knew autism awareness was coming up, and I wanted to do something for it. Like go for a walk, do as many steps as I can for autism. And I thought, you know what? So I just sat there in the living room. I was playing on my phone, and obviously the kids looked absolutely miserable, bored, isolated, and I was basically like this. So I kept looking up while I was playing on my phone. I'm like, Adam, what the fuck are you doing? You need to be a dad again. You need to be that partner again. So go and do something about that, because you can't just keep in self-pity all this time.
Sure.
So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Exactly what I did. So I thought, you know what? Get on the school run, put my trainers on. So we all got ready, took the kids to school. Obviously, I was like right behind, and I kept looking behind me. So then Tegan just stopped. She came back to me, held my hand, and she went, Dad, you've got this. And I just put a smile on my face, and I just went, no ifs, no buts.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for sharing, Adam, because it's I mean, I always admire your honesty. I think that's it's quite it's quite
it's
powerful story, and
yeah.
I mean,
you don't know what to ask now, do you?
Well, no, I mean, it's I don't. I mean, do you think we should celebrate survival in the sense that we often think we should be thriving, but actually survival is survival is a good thing, is it in itself, so we should celebrate.
I celebrate every single day.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Every single day. It doesn't matter what day it is. I celebrate every day, because at the end of the day, and this is why it's a trigger warning, people, because I'm grateful for waking up every single day. Sometimes I just can't be asked getting out of bed.
Yeah.
So, I literally had to motivate Kerry to get out of bed, because she just never had the motivation this morning. She's looking at me thinking, what the hell are you talking about? So, but yeah, it's all right to not have the motivation to get out of bed. But I know there are people out there that are going to be going to bed tonight and possibly won't even wake up tomorrow morning. So that's why I'm truly grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing really. When if we on the talk about the topic we are today, I think if people are at that point where they think, well, what's the point? Because I failed, so in everything I'm a total failure. But I suppose that's the thing. If you can find something you can be grateful for, even the smallest thing,
Yeah.
that can be the thing that changes.
Well, this is
How you
what I said to
self-perceiving yourself.
Lucas at one point.
Self-belief.
This is what I said to Lucas at one point because he would believe and he was a failure as well. So I thought, right, okay, then let's have a conversation about that. So he sat on the freezer, on the chest freezer, and we were just having a nice conversation about it. And obviously he got talking to me about that. I'm like, all right, then. So why don't you get your trainers on? And this was about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You get your trainers and cut on. I will do the same, and we'll go for a walk. He went, where are we going? I'm like, all right, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at street corners, see if we can find any homeless people. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the hospital, and we're going to go into the ward where people are literally fighting to stay alive.
Yeah.
Literally fighting to stay alive.
Yeah.
Then tell me that you're a failure, man.
I agree. It's interesting. Like there's a approach part of like of coaching or even therapy where basically they ask you ask questions to challenge certain thoughts you have. So if someone if you think, well, I'm a failure, a complete failure, then you say, well, really, you're a complete failure? Yeah, you failed every single thing in your life. You failed, have you? And then you say, well, no, maybe not everything. Okay, well, you're not a complete failure then. If you haven't, you just said you haven't failed at every single thing in your whole life, so you can't be a complete failure. And then you say, well, if you can find one thing in your life you haven't failed at, you must be something. And then we can all find something we're not failed at. And then just if you forget, then you've gone from a complete failure, failing everything in your life, to actually I haven't failed at everything, and there is something I've not failed at. And absolutely. I think like you said, there's it's life can be hard. Life can, is a struggle, but we've got to be grateful. And I think there are always people a lot worse than us, and then being aware of that and actually can help sometimes keep in perspective that failure is part of life, the ups and downs of life. We have failure, we have success. The one constant is life is hard and challenging, but that's not something to fear. That's something to embrace. But I think if you can, we can all think of things we failed at, but can we also think of little things we're proud of? Because that
comes into this question. That comes into this question, and it's going off what you've literally just said. If you could completely wipe away fear, shame, and trauma, what would success actually look like for you? I'd say nothing. I believe we need the fear, we need the shame and the trauma to succeed. We need it.
I think I agree. I think it's a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, I think.
Fuck on deep questions.
Yeah, I think it's we have to, we all have fears, and we, to some extent, we all have our own, traumas or perceived traumas, but definitely we all have our own fears and doubts and insecurities. Yeah. And I think, that's what makes us human. So in some ways, if you strip that away and say, let's take away, if you can take away all your fears and your insecurities and the traumas, well, there you take away what makes you human, because to be human is to have, insecurities and, things traumatic things we've gone through. But then we've also got things we're proud of, and that's what makes us human, isn't it? So it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people in the comments have anything for us? Any questions? I see there's 4 of you on.
Yeah, we had some
Yeah,
good,
you can
good.
ask us anything about failure, to succeed, to fear, to resentment, anything. This is the opportunity for any of you. Kerry, do you have one?
What do you think is the biggest success in your life up to date?
What's the biggest success for us to date?
You answer Adam first.
I'll let you answer. Yeah, answer.
Well, I think for me, it might. I mean, it might sound a bit corny, but truthfully, it's my it's my son, my 10-year-old son Noah. Because I think at the end of the day, other successes, particularly ones to do with finance, whether can come and go, but doing things for your someone your loved one, doing stuff, having him as my motivation, my why I do everything. Definitely, if he's a happy boy, if he's happy and he's wholesome and he's healthy mentally, physically, then that's a success for me. That's the biggest success, because I've contributed to that. And obviously, if he's happy and doing, then that makes me more motivated. And so it's a kind of reciprocal thing. So I think that's for me. That's it. It just comes to that, really. What about you, though,
Yeah.
Adam? What do you think? What's your?
What do I think? Well,
Yeah,
I
what's
already
yours?
know.
What's your thing?
I already know with the way Kerry's looking at me. I know what she's expecting.
I'm curious to know your
No
answer.
answer.
I would actually say my biggest success to date is stopping drinking.
I was hoping you'd say that. No, genuinely, I was hoping you'd say that because
You knew I was going to say that, didn't you?
I had a feeling it was going to be around you drinking.
Yeah, stopping drinking.
I was hoping. I thought you might say that. And I was hoping you would because definitely I would agree with you. That's that's. And I think whatever you do in life, that is that'll always be. I think.
Yeah, I'd say that because it's made me into the person I want to be.
Sure.
Yeah, because I've noticed that, yes, I can show a bit of aggression at times, but I've become a lot calmer in my words, haven't I, Kerry? A lot calmer.
Another question. So
I'm still an arsehole, yeah.
But with being Mevea, obviously you connect with lots of people in the groups and communities. Do you think that's helped you
Yes.
with your own perception of success and failure, but also your own personal growth? Because you're seeing people in some of those groups who have perhaps gone through struggles, perhaps different, worse, whatever. And there's quite do you think that
being part of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's really helped me be the person I want to be because, like I've said in many shares as well, in the groups, it's helped me to start communicating with the kids. It's started to help me communicate with Kerry, something I never used to do, and it's helped me connect with myself again.
Sure.
Find that confidence, find that commitment and determination.
Yeah.
To keep pushing forward.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I wonder how. Do you think confidence, is not failing, and the whole way you you view whether not just failing, not failing, but you're surviving or thriving. Do you think a lot of it is to do with confidence? Because
absolutely, confidence has played a big part in that. Because I won't say just confidence either. It's definitely motivation, change, and again with the acceptance and accountability, they play part. And I believe we need to take the bad with the good as well, and the good with the bad, whatever way people want to change it, to actually say, all right, okay, I was that arsehole, but I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be this particular person. And it's that I find that confidence as well, because I didn't even like talking to anyone. But now it is. Like, because I know when I first stepped foot into Alcoholics Anonymous for the very first time, it took me 3 months of attending meetings to even admit I'm an alcoholic. 3 months.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Because I never believed I was.
But that makes it even more powerful.
Yeah.
The fact that you stuck it out and to the point where you. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm just a grateful one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I wonder whether, in some ways, by saying we're failing or while we're failing, we'll make it all about, more about us, and our, but actually, life is so much about how we affect other people and our relationships with other people. And I think in some ways that we could fall into the trap of of just saying, well, I failed, or I failed at this, I failed at that, I'm failing. But actually, it's not. Life is bigger than just what I think I've done or I've meant.
Yeah, and I believe, and this is to everybody, the definition of failure is the time you stop trying.
Love it. What a good quote. Simple but powerful.
Yeah. You're a failure when you stop trying. And you just quit. And that's the same with the quitting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's something similar about courage and bravery. And it's, a similar thing where if it was easy, you wouldn't be having any courage. You wouldn't be being brave if it was easy. But being brave and having courage is doing things when they're difficult. It's a carry on doing things difficult. Because if it's easy, you're not being brave or having courage. If you're in these situations, it's a similar thing. It's being a really hard situation, but carrying on despite it being hard.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the thing, that I think sometimes we it's easy to say, well, just because I'm just surviving, so I'm failing because I'm just surviving. Just surviving is failure, but actually, just surviving is a thing to celebrate, because surviving means you're still there, you're in the game, you're still looking ahead. You're, like you say, you're still trying your best to that's a lot to be recognised and counts a lot, I think.
And that's the true meaning of the word fail.
Yeah.
First attempt in learning.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. It's
exactly, Robert. Failure does carry it with greatest lessons if you choose to see it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I believe this has been really powerful. Really powerful.
Yeah.
So I'll end with one more. What does surviving mean to you today? And what would it take to finally start living instead of just surviving?
Well, I think, okay, briefly. So I think, when I felt failing, like I, get overwhelmed with that dark cloud of losing, no motivation to do anything, because, what's the point? I'm failing anyway. And I think surviving in some way, it's almost, in my mind, a bit robotic. You're doing what you need to do to get through, which is in some ways, still a thing to celebrate. You're still moving forward and in life. But I think, to me, having being excited, there's a lot to be said about being excited in life. Whatever you do, however you find that excitement, and people, can find excitement anywhere. We've all got things we're passionate about, but whether it's for his, family or friends, or whether it's a hobby or whatever, but having something they're excited about. And I think to me, moving on from just surviving to what's the word you used?
To living.
To living is have it, is to have that excitement, to be excited about, the next day, to be excited, to making always little plans in your mind. Maybe all the plans I make will fail, but there's nothing wrong with still making plans or trying those plans, because that's the thing. We never know whether if we try 10 things and they fail, never mind. There's another 10 things you can try, but it's having the excitement to try things. What about you? What about you, Adam? What would you say? I'd be interested to know your thoughts because that's to move for that next.
There's a few words that are popping into my head when I hear that. Live and let live.
Would you say you're someone who lives in the moment kind of thing,
I do live in the moment, yes.
I thought so. You said similar things before. I like that. I like that sort of
I definitely live in the moment. I don't think about tomorrow. I don't, because I'm starting to live like it's my last day alive.
Sure.
And I do that every single day because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
No.
So I'd rather live than let life live me, because even though I've gone through shit and I've caused a lot of shit, I'd rather live my own life than let someone else live my life for me. Because there's no guarantees that they're going to make my life positive. They could make it hell. So that's why I'm living it the way I want to live it. And if people's got a problem with that, then they've clearly got a problem with themselves and they've got a problem with their own life.
I like it. I think most of our worries are about things that never happen. They might never happen. We worry about things in the future. What if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't happen? What if? Well, you can never predict the future.
You don't know. You just don't know.
You're so right. If we live, if we live in the moment, then half our worries would go away, because half our worries about what happened next week, next day, all these things.
Exactly. Just focus on today, people. Focus on today.
Empowering.
The only thing you need to better is yourself from yesterday. Just better yourself yesterday, and I do that every single day.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's why I've got plans coming up anyway. But
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody from tuning in, from Teresa to Kerry to Robert and anyone else. Please do put hi in the chat so then we can acknowledge you. And Nick, what a show!
Oh, great! No, I think it's such a topical thing. I think it's something we all need to work out. This isn't something we do once and then forget about it. Like I said, we all have days we feel we're failing things. But just like I said, life is hard at times. But be proud if you're surviving. If you're in the game, if you're just getting by and moving forwards day by day, it's something to celebrate just that. But if you can find something you can get excited about, something you can be proud of, something that motivates you, just small things. I think that there's a lot to be said for that. But definitely worry about things that may never happen is
absolutely.
So great show, love it.
Absolutely. So on that note, please do subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Please do share this, and we will see you next week when it becomes in March. I can't believe it's March next year. Almost my birthday. But next month, sorry.
Have a celebration.
Yeah, March next month. And we've got a different theme, so we're not going to say what it is yet. So we're going to surprise you all. Obviously, me, Nick, and Ashley need to have a chat about that. But other than that, we will see you next week, same time next week.
Bye, guys. Please subscribe.
See you later.
Yes.